Okay, so the Second Amendment reads as follows. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall never be infringed upon. Okay? That's the Second Amendment. Now, with the climate that we're dealing with right now in our country, even though it was another failed promise from the current administration that it would not be attacked, it is being attacked right under your noses and you didn't even know it. It was actually a bill that was introduced. It's House Regulation 127, and it was introduced to the House of Representatives on 1/4/21. But I think due to everything that was going on at the beginning of January, with the election, with the pandemic, with the fighting and the just unrest that we've had in our nation in the last over a year now, right at a year. It just was one of those things that I knew it was coming, just like they're not going to ban fracking. Oh, and they have banned fracking. So I was waiting on this. But what y'all don't know is the changes that they are wanting to make to the already regulated gun laws, which, let me say this for the record, I got most of this information off of the constitutioncongress.gov and through the White House website. So these are all things that are public knowledge as far as that I'm going to be talking about, and I wrote them down detailed so that I don't misspeak when I'm talking about these. So they introduced this bill on 1/4/21, and I am totally fine with there being a process in order to safely get a gun. But I'm not an idiot. If you want a gun to cause harm to said self or someone else, you will get it. Just like growing up, they always said, you can lock your doors, but if they won't in, they gonna get in. Same concept, okay? If you wish to do someone harm, you will find a way. If you wish to do someone good, you will find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Have y'all not heard this like your entire life? Okay, so here we go. And before we get really going, I just wanted to say that I am a huge fan of Graham Allen, and I recently actually purchased two of his shirts, one for myself and one for my mom. This is the shirt, and it says Make Us 912, and it has a pretty little thing right here, our flag, and then it has on the back, if y'all can see that. Okay, so big supporter of 912. And for those of you that don't know, Graham Allen was an Army veteran, and he created this company called 912, and it refers to 9/12 as a date, the day after September 11th, when the country as a whole came together, regardless of any differences, and backed each other, and helped each other, and hugged each other, and cried with each other. Like, that is the whole point of 9/12. Now, typically, being that I'm a big fan of his, he is definitely a conservative. So, it is what it is. And and now I'm no way affiliated getting any kind of rep for this. I got my shirt in the mail yesterday, finally, and I was excited to wear it, and I felt like this was a good time to wear it. To make my political statement as much as I wanted to. So here we go. So the bill, House Resolution 127, is called the Sabika Shriek Firearm Registration Act. And I'm really, really sorry if I pronounced that wrong. It is a Pakistani national's name. and just a little Southern girl from Georgia, so I'm really, really sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. But Sabika Shriek was a foreign exchange student from Pakistan. After the 9/11 incident happened, there was programs started to help bring students over from Muslim countries and integrate them and let them see, you know, just foreign exchange programs. Like, that's what they do. I remember growing up, my cousins had a foreign exchange student from Spain, and I believe he was from Spain. And he was super sweet, and they, I believe, still talk to him to this day, and it was just a really wonderful experience for everyone. So I'm totally am cool with foreign exchange programs. Like, I've witnessed it firsthand and seen the bonds that it can create. So I know that most families inherently, I would hope, because I like to see the good in people, would want to, if they're gonna be a part of these programs, these foreign exchange programs, that they take this person in and they treat this person like they are their family, and they love them, and they don't treat them any differently. That's the grand scheme thing. That's the great idea. And I also know a few other people personally have had multiple foreign exchange students over the years. So back to Sabika Shriek. She was a foreign exchange student from Pakistan, and she was originally placed with a Muslim family, and she met a friend at school, and she wanted, over time, after they became really good friends, and this friend was a very devout Christian, and she was a very devout Muslim, they kind of compared stories, you know, like, and prophecies and scriptures and, you know, teachings of their different religious backgrounds to each other, and they were very interested in each other, and they became very good friends. So Sabika told her family, I want to have a real American experience. I want to live with a true American family, not necessarily a Muslim family. Although everything was great with the family that she was with, she just wanted a different experience. And being a teenager, I'm sure she found refuge in this friend that she had met, and they just hit it off, and she was like, I just want to live with my friend, like, this will be great. And so the family took her in, and it was great, and they loved her, and they adapted to her things. There was a story where it talked about the foreign exchange dad, like, they had made pepperoni pizza, and she was like, oh, I can't eat pepperoni. And he was like, what? You've never had pepperoni pizza? And she's like, no, it has pork in it. So, you know, they picked the pepperonis off for her, and was like, oh, sorry. And like, when she went into her religious fasting, her friend decided to do it with her. Like, they were very welcoming and very wanted to know more about her as who she was and her religious background. So Sabika attended Santa Fe High School, and unfortunately, there was an extremely tragic event that, for whatever reason, has happened several times within the United States. It was on the morning of May 18th, 2018. A junior named Demetrius, and I'm not going to say his last name because I can't even pronounce it, but this is all in the news, guys, so I'm not just saying this to say this. This is the fact. Was arrested, and he waived his Miranda rights, and he confessed to all the killings. He went into a school, into the art studio, where there was apparently 2 classrooms connected by a closet, and this boy had apparently shown interest in a girl, not Sabika, a different girl, and she had blown him off several times. Apparently the last time was pretty publicly humiliating from what I've read. And so he took matters into his own hands. He was known to be a quiet student. He came in the door with a shirt that said Born to Kill, and basically, and a trench coat, and he had his dad's firearms. Let me tell you exactly what they were. He had a Remington 870 shotgun and a .38 caliber pistol. And he started shooting, and the girl that he was crushing on, I guess, that set him off or triggered him, was one of the first ones killed. And then they were running, and they went into this closet, and this 15-year-old kid, he's a hero. His last name was Garcia. I think he went by Riley Garcia, and he barricaded the door to the closet where Sabika was hiding in, and with other students. And it was like if you've ever been in high school and been in art, there's usually a closet and it's got like all the extra stuff in it, like the paint, the clay, the everything, all the extras. And someone's phone rang, and apparently the killer said, "You gonna get that?" Like a smart ass, and then shot through the door, killing Garcia instantly. And the kid started to run, and he just began shooting. Sabika was shot in the forehead, the shoulder, and the cheek. And these things are beyond forgivable to me. They're horrible. But that goes without saying. They're trying to add in these restrictions based off this situation that happened in 2018. And they are naming it the Sabika Shriek Firearm and Resolution Act, I think is what it's called. Now, and Registration Act. So, here's what they're changing. Like most states, like I live in Georgia, I have a carry permit. I went in, I filled out paperwork. They had to do background check. They had to do criminal background check. You have to be fingerprinted to the nines, and being a hairstylist, that was very hard because I guess don't have very good fingerprints because my hands have touched tons of hot things, and I wash them constantly, have them in water, so I guess I don't have a good fingerprint. So, and then there's a process. You have to wait, and then you get your permit, and then you have to keep it up. You have to renew it and all this and that. I know there are a lot of states that have a lot stricter gun laws and restrictions. But what they are trying to do with this bill, and using this girl's name, which maybe her family's okay with, I don't know, but it just doesn't seem right to me. And this is my opinion. It doesn't seem right to me. Not when we watched last year as a country, police officers be ambushed and shot multiple times, killed, going to write a traffic ticket, killed. And I guarantee you, which I haven't looked into each and every case, but these weren't probably carry permit holders, because that would mean you were following a law, and usually people that are going to break it don't go about things in a legal manner. Just saying. So here's what they want to do under this added to the end of the already in place rules. They want to require info under the firearm registration system. The owner of the firearm shall submit to the Bureau the make, model, serial number, identity of the gun, the owner identity, the date acquired, and where the firearm is to be stored. So they want to say, which you already have to register your gun. I mean, your guns are registered to your name. That's how you get them when you buy them. If you buy them legally, they're registered to your name. I have multiple registered to my name. And so that's already there. But they want to know, and the date is on there. The date's on there when you register them. And you have to be a licensed carry. And it's checked again when you pick it up. And in Georgia, like, it has to be sent to a dealer that is able to then give you that gun. There's a transfer fee, and they check your license and your gun permit, and they check all that in their system, and then you're able to finally get your handgun or your firearm. Where it's stored in your house, where it's stored, how it's going to be stored. I'm sorry, but first off, that ain't none of your business where I'm going to store my gun. And we don't really store them if we're going to use them potentially for protection. So when I'm out and about, mine's stored directly on my hip. Is that good enough for you, Attorney General? The other thing they want to do is in the database, okay? So this is the database system. So they, after all that, they want to know, they have this database. And in general, the Attorney General shall establish and maintain a database of all firearms registered, all of them. They want the Attorney General to have a database of all registered firearms. The Attorney General shall make contents of the database accessible to all members of the public. You know those funny signs when they were like, guns are bad, guns are bad, guns are bad. Okay, a gun is a tool. FYI. This is a pen. This is a pen. If I wanted this to become a weapon, all I would have to do is shank the shit out of somebody with it. Then it's a weapon. But now it's a pen. Because I made it a weapon. Okay? Firearm is a tool. Can use for hunting. It can be used for protection. It can be used for entertainment. We shoot clays down here, not like clays, you know. My husband's a big hunter. He goes out, he hunts. We eat what he hunts, what he kills, whether it's deer, duck, pheasant, gator. We eat it. So they want to make that known to the public, which, you know, now to think about it, I get, but, you know, criminals aren't going to be DuckDuckGo or Googling by this database to the public and go down the list and see what house near them isn't registered for guns. That would be smart on a criminal's part, but I doubt that's going to happen. So that's a little disturbing. I don't think it's their business, what goes on inside your house with your gun as far as where it is stored at. All federal, state, and local law enforcement, all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces and the local government are to know this and to have access to this database along with all members of the public. The licensing system requires the general license, you 21 years of old, and after applying, they do a criminal background check under the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act, and you undergo a psychological evaluation, and if you successfully completed a training course certified by the Attorney General on the use and safety of your firearm and proper storage, it includes 24 hours of training. Y'all, they want to know what kind of gun you got, which they already do, who it's registered to, they already do, when it was registered to you, they already do. Then they want to tell you where and how to store it, the Attorney General. They want to make it public knowledge that you own guns in your home. Then if you try to get a permit now, which I don't know how this will work with those of us that already have permits. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm going to be real pissed if I have to go for a psychological evaluation, a waste of time, to tell me by a psychologist that is approved by the Attorney General. Y'all getting where I'm going here? So there's that. That's the first little bit. The third, the individual will have to have an effective insurance policy issued under Section D. Now, I was trying to dig through this and see what that meant or what they were trying to make us do, but I really couldn't find it because this is a lot on this thing. There's also a separate antique display firearm in residence. Whole nother can of worms. License holder under paragraph A, which is the general. If you have a general permit and you have proof of ownership of said antique gun. Yeah, you know that 4 generations passed down antique rifle. Maybe even a black powder gun that your family's just had. Now they want proof you owned it? I'm sorry. Dear Uncle Cletus forgot to take his picture with it in 1801. I mean, are you kidding me? Describe the manner in which it will be displayed. I'd say on my motherfucking mantle. Individual has proper storage approved by, you guessed it, the Attorney General. Now, once again, this is so annoying to me because so all of these things, they are wanting to go and be approved by the Attorney General. The psychological evaluation standard is established by the Attorney General. The evaluation conducted by a licensed psychologist approved by the Attorney General. Evaluation of household and other residents. Come on now. Let's move on to military-style weapons. The Attorney General shall issue a license if already licensed from paragraph A. That's the general license that, like I have, a carry permit. And they successfully complete training, 24 hours of training in safety and storage. A psychological evaluation standard established by the Attorney General. In Section B, evaluation conducted by licensed psychologist approved by Attorney General. Evaluation of household and other residents. This means that if you want to legally own a military-style weapon, and I guarantee you they don't even know what that means, most of them at least, not in that house, and I'm talking about House representatives, your household has to be evaluated. The evaluation and the interview of the spouse, any former spouses, at least 2 persons who are family members or associated of the individual, to determine the mental, emotional, and relational stability of the person related to the firearm. Are you kidding me? Mental illness, depression, homicidal ideology, suicidal, addiction to a controlled substance and or alcohol, or any brain disease can revoke your permit if not properly insured. The insurance policy fee is $800. These are general, right? Penalties. Fined $75,000 to $150,000 and imprisoned for 15 to 25 years. If you're found, I guess, with one of these guns that you're not approved for. So let's figure out who the Attorney General, I guess he's being confirmed Biden's pick is Merrick Garland. Now, he is an American attorney, a jurist who serves as a United States Circuit Judge of the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia, D.C., go figure. You want to know a fun little fact about Mr. Garland? He was born in Chicago, Illinois. One of the most dangerous cities to live in. One with one of the most strictest gun laws. Yet, they have record number murderous weekends. Seriously? Come on now. They also want to make into law that no one can possess a .50 caliber or greater ammunition. Now, a lot of ignorant people are going to be like, well, what do you need that caliber of ammunition for? Let me tell you. Although we're right under that with the 480 at 475. If you live in areas where you have bear, you're going to need, more than likely, one of these pistols that carry .50 caliber ammunition. They're short-nosed, revolver kind of style, but they'll drop a bear, and you can fit it in your pocket. They're lightweight. They have a lot of kick. I'll give you that. I've not shot a .50 caliber, but I've shot a 480. Which is right under that. But you know what's also so funny about this is these guns that they want to outlaw and ban, you know where they're big at? The big screen. I don't know if you can say certain movies on here, so, you know, if you're not alive, and then you can go jump in which is in a lot of people's backyards. Y'all can put that together and figure it out. The Desert Eagle movie guns. Big caliber guns. So all of these things and facts I have found on outdoormethods.com and GovTrack.us, but I find it highly disturbing that they want to tack on all these other issues and all these other rules to places that already have them, and the places that already have them and have the strictest, have the most violent cities. Are you kidding me? So the kid that killed Sabika Shriek, and I hope her soul's at rest, because that's a horrible, horrible thing that happened to her. And I'm sure her story can bring light to things, but this kid wasn't a registered gun owner. He was 17. He wasn't legally allowed to own a gun. So none of the crap that they're putting in place would stop this. Because if he wanted to find one and he lived in a household where there was one, or he knew someone, if he didn't have one in his house, if he happened to know someone that had one, if he wanted it bad enough, he would have figured out how to get it anyways. And I'm not saying that's an excuse, because what he did was absolutely horrendous, unforgivable, and horrible. But like I said before, where there's a will, there's a way. If someone wants to do evil, they're going to do evil. Okay? That is what it is. And some of the most dangerous cities have the strictest gun laws. which just baffles me. Baltimore and Detroit have some of the strictest gun laws in the country. So in 2018, one of the top 10 states with the most restrictive gun laws is Illinois. Last year, which based off this article was in 2018, I believe, it says last year there were 650 murders in Chicago alone by the USA Today's crime data. In Maryland, another state with some of the strictest gun laws in the country, Baltimore had 343 murders last year and has the highest per capita murder rate in the nation. Also named the most dangerous city to live in America by the USA Today. So tell me again how gun laws, more restrictive gun laws, are going to keep guns out of the hands of people that wish to do harm to others with them. They're not. What it's going to do is prevent people from owning a gun legally. It's going to drastically rise the crime rate of other crimes. Because I promise you, if you're trying to get carjacked and you're a carrier, or if someone comes in your church and tries to, start taking people out, and you carry, guess what? You become the hero. And that happened in a church in Texas. People tend to initiate these types of crimes in no gun zones. Churches, schools, campuses, certain workplaces. States just have gun laws where you're not supposed to bring them in. Hospitals, you're not supposed to bring in guns in hospitals. So all of this just really blows my mind. It's sad to me that they're pushing an agenda by using this girl's name, who was not a U.S. citizen. She was here on a student visa, under the foreign exchange student program. I'm not saying some reform isn't needed. I'm sure with any process, there's always some improvements to be made. But what I'm saying is, don't make it harder for upstanding citizens that use the laws the correct way to protect themselves. And I feel like that's exactly what this is going to do. Not to mention, it infringes on your privacy. Like, nobody should be able to look up my name and find if I'm a gun owner and where I store them. Because that's just ludicrous. Because if I had something that somebody wanted and they were going to come in my house and get it, and they knew where that was, what do you think they're going to do? If they're going to come to get something, they're going to unarm you before they come after something. If they're a smart criminal. If they're a dumb criminal, they're not. They're just going to come right in, and they're not going to leave. I'm not condoning violence in any way, shape, or form, but what I'm telling you is that you have the right as an American to protect yourself, and you have the right to use your Second Amendment to do so. You have the right to get a carry permit, and you have the right to carry it on your person at all times. I own a hair salon. You can bet your sweet ass that every single one of us in there carries. We're also next door to a oil changing place, and a lot of them carry. So a firearm in the hands of a good person will only be used for good. A firearm in the hands, or a weapon of any sort, used in the hands of a bad person or a person that wishes to do harm, will be used for such. So don't be ignorant. Don't let them pass these crazy rules to tack on to what's already there. It's none of your business where we keep anything in our house. It's none of your business what type of gun we own. And for those of you that want to blame the certain calibers of gun on things, I can promise you, unless a teenager isn't experienced with guns, which if they are, they're probably less likely to cause harm because they have a responsible knowledge of them. But if someone went into a place and tried to shoot a person with a 50 caliber pistol or even a 480, I guarantee you they would probably for one miss. Because when you shoot said gun, I'm 5'4"-ish, about $150, okay? And I have experience with firearms. And when I shot off a 480, luckily I kept my arm straight, but I felt like it about broke my wrist. And I was like, well, I won't do that because I need my hands to work because I'm a hairdresser. So those calibers of guns are not they're the military style guns is not the calibers that people are using when they're going in and doing this. So like what's the girl from Colorado? The representative from Colorado, Lauren Boebert. She's been very, very vocal about carrying her sidearm on Capitol Hill. She's like 5'1", 100 pounds soaking wet. Girlfriend, I don't blame you. I'd be carrying too. But she received the other day a lot of just pure hate and ignorance by people. She was on a Zoom meeting or whatever, and she has firearms behind her, and they're like, those are not being stored properly. No, they're out ready for use. Yes, people own gun safes, but if you are a carry permit person, you have some sort of weapon ready for use, usually at all times. And I don't blame her. She also, I believe, is the owner of Shooters in Colorado. And guess what? All her waitresses, they carry. And she provides them with education and training. Now, a lot of your local governments, I took a class when I was in the 9th grade, I believe, with my dad's 44 on self-defense and gun training. Now, I already knew about gun training. I already knew about gun safety because my parents taught me that. But if that's something you don't know and you want to know, all you got to do is a little Google search. Type it in there or DuckDuckGo, whatever, search engine you want to use. And I can promise you that your local government, county or city level probably has something there. Some churches even have them. They teach self-defense classes. They teach handgun classes. Mine, like I said, I was taught by the sheriff's department. And the picture in my yearbook is me at the shooting range, shooting towards an Osama bin Laden target with my dad's 44. It's on my senior ad page. When you make it a responsible part of your everyday, it is used as a responsible part in your everyday. Now, I do know people who have died at the hand of gun violence. More than one. And sadly, both of the people that I know were shot and killed by cowards Cowards and criminals is what they were. And one of these people, who I loved dearly, she was pregnant. And the father of her child and her children shot and killed her in front of their toddler. You can always what if things after the fact. But I do understand the need and the desire to want to control and regulate guns. But what I'm telling you is that's not always who it's going to help. It's going to hurt the people that require or have guns, like myself, that use them for protection. I don't take my kids places. We have a very certain system that we use when we go places, because I have 2 small children, and you can bet that they ain't leaving my side or the buggy, and my eyes don't come off of them. And I'm ambidextrous, so it doesn't matter what hip my weapon is on. I promise I won't miss. And there needs to be more vocal women to stand up and say the Second Amendment is a right, and it is a privilege, and it is what we get as Americans to use to protect our families. Because some of us aren't my husband's stature, who's 6'4", 200 pounds. But if someone of that stature was coming at me or trying to take me out or trying to take my kids from me, I guarantee you my 380 put a big old hole in him, and he'd leave me alone. Because there would be one story to tell, and it would be mine. I'll say it like Reba said it. Little sister don't miss when she aims her gun. And you cannot infringe on the rights of the Second Amendment. You cannot do it. I hope this video was entertaining, a little bit educational. I'm, like I said, reading directly off the government websites, directly statistics off theirs, and if you would like them, I can put them in the comments on the links of the websites that I'm getting all this from. But I just felt this was necessary. Now, I'm not sure when they're voting on this. I'll try to find that out, and where this is even at on the floor. You know, they can't seem to pause long enough. Maybe now that the second witch hunt impeachment trial is officially over, maybe now that they can get under this. But I believe that the person who introduced this bill is Miss Lee out of Texas. Now, don't quote me on that or this resolution, but I do believe that it is the Democratic representative, and I believe her last name is Lee out of Texas. I will double check that, and I will put it in the comments for y'all. But keep a watchful eye, protect your own, support small business. Can't that look really funny, doesn't it? If you're a big fan of Graham Allen's like I am, support his small business, the 912. He has been significantly banned and censored on social media. I think they're now back. They've been back up and running now. But yeah. Oh, and what with this 912 shirt, with the reason I bought 2 of them as I'm finishing up, he took a pretty good percentage of the sales. I don't want to quote the percentage because I can't remember exactly, and I don't want it to be like way too much or way too little, but and donated it to the Barstool Fund. And the Barstool Fund helps small struggling businesses through the pandemic. So like your small restaurants, your little local businesses, bakeries, things like that. Small businesses that are really, really been struggling because they had to basically cut off for whatever reason, whether they're in a Democratic state that wouldn't let them open, which we all know that's a joke, because as soon as Inauguration Day, here they go opening crap back up. So that all goes to tell you that it was just a political ploy. And if that doesn't sink in, then honey, you got other issues too. But that's my opinion, and I'll be sticking to it. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments down below. Please like, love, link, and share, subscribe, and I'll be looking forward to seeing y'all later. Bye.